never forget that you don't have to give somebody a compliment back, right? I mean, you are your own person, right? You're allowed to pick and choose what you want. And even if you don't feel like you are allowed to, you are. There are just different consequences for different people when you disobey certain rules, right? And certain rules in society are valued more than others, just in general in society, right? Like opening a door for someone or not is less consequential than not saying please and thank you, in my opinion. At least people treat opening doors like it's like the end of the world or something. But the idea is just that you should be your own person, right? That you're allowed to. I think what we've lost a lot of is a lot of thought, a lot of intentionality, rather. There are just plenty of people that go along with things in the world and they say, I have to do this because it's what I have to do in the world. And that's true, but not because of the reason they think it is. It's really good, in my experience, it's really fulfilling to decide what you like and what you don't like about the society that you live in, and to agree with the things that you have to agree with, or that you do agree with naturally, disagree with the things that are like still do, but disagree with a lot of things that you have to do that you think you aren't willing to accept the cost of, and then don't do the things that you can take the cost of and disagree with, right? Like that's a really big deal for me, is being able to say, I don't like this, and I'm willing to take this cost. I'm willing to take like a pay cut in a way, to not do it. And it's kind of like a thing, like there's like a standard of you have to compliment someone back, right, when they compliment you. And I think I'd rather have genuine compliments than a lot of compliments, right? So I give people compliments when I really think there's something about them, regardless or not, at least I try, of whether they gave me a compliment or not, right? And if they gave me a compliment, then that's cute. There's a couple. But the idea is that I get to choose what I like and what I don't like, and when I don't like something, I can choose not to do it. And that freedom, that cost, right? When people might feel a little insulted because I didn't compliment them back, at the end of the day, they'll feel rewarded, right, when I do compliment them. And I'm not even thinking about that at all, right? I'm just thinking about my personal philosophy and not really how that must apply to other people, because other people might work within that framework, but they might also not. If everybody, like the Kant universalizability thing, if somebody else is working and they're working with the assumption, like working with the idea that everybody around them is also thinking and agreeing, then if somebody doesn't compliment me back, I'm not going to think that that's a problem, because I know that for me that isn't a problem. So it doesn't mean that necessarily for them that's a problem. It's only going to be a problem if I assume that everybody is working just like kind of the default person, I think. And I could be wrong about that, right? It's possible that the default person doesn't work that way. I just think it's really good to have intentionality in your thoughts, in why you say things, and saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It's a really big step in saying what you mean and meaning what you say, in my opinion. Is really thinking about all of the things that you do and really why you do them, and taking your own agency into it. At the end of the day, it's not that you have absolute control over everything that you do, and it's not that you don't do things because you have to, but at the end of the day, you agree with them to some extent, right? And if you don't, then I don't think you're thinking enough about them in order to say that you disagree with them, right? If you disagree with them, you better have a good reason for why you still are doing it, or why you still feel like you have to do it. I think that's a huge idea for me. It's just, if you don't have to, if you don't want to, then why are you, right? And it's a lot about taking your own destiny in your own hands, or whatever, if you want to say it that way. But I genuinely think it's really important for your sense of agency, for your happiness. Don't let that burden you, right? Like why would you do things that you don't want to do, right? Like you don't have to compliment people back, right? That's your own, again, that's your choice at the end of the day, right? And you can disagree with your own choice, and you can change your choices later, because you'll be in that situation again and again and again, where you either decide to compliment people, decide not to compliment people. But it's good to consider everybody's ideas. It's good to consider other people's feelings. I take back what I said about I would just work with myself. Obviously, I do work with myself, and that's the biggest part of the pie, but the reason that I feel the way that I feel about complimenting other people is because also the important bit there was working under the assumption that everybody's working like you, because that world that you want to create where everybody's working with intentionality, you need to be part of that too. And so if you just stick with the status quo, and you assume that everybody's working like most people are, then not only are you gonna do bad on some people by acting as if you're by treating other people as if they're not like you, but also you're gonna make easy choices, and it's gonna make for a harder life, right? When you decide to have that friction with someone, to treat somebody like they're thinking, and then you realize that they're not thinking as much as you thought they were thinking, that's okay, right? If they agree with you, if they agree with me and with you that you should be thinking about your thoughts and your actions and how to mean what you say and how to say what you mean, then in that case, they're going to change their behavior to adapt to it. And if they're not, then they won't. And that's okay as well, right? It's their choice, it's their life. And I'm not saying that anybody who isn't doing that is doing it wrong. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is if you agree with saying what you mean and meaning what you say, I think this is a really big step for that. Yeah. Absolutely. Great. I think I put it pretty well. Cool.